today let's talk about Fujifilm X30 and the reason why I love this camera. I wouldn't even say it is exaggerating if I say this camera is my favorite camera ever, just because I've gone through so many cameras in the past 6 years since I really got into photography. This was one of the cameras I bought back in the days. I never even thought about selling these, and I don't plan to either. If you're in the market to buy a x100vi, maybe you should consider giving this camera a look. It's definitely a great choice without breaking the bank, because the new X100s are quite expensive. Of course, they come with weather sealing and they come with image stabilization, but do you really need those features? I feel like this camera could be a good choice if you don't need all those bells and whistles. And let me tell you why. Couple basic information about this camera is this is not even APS-C. So this is a 2/3 inch sensor. And I think this camera was released maybe 10 years, over 10 years ago. So 12 megapixel, not even APS-C, 2/3 inch, that's the sensor size. But what's interesting about this camera is the lens. Unlike the X100 series camera with a fixed lens, of course you can add a converter to change the focal length, but they come with a fixed, I think 23mm. But this camera comes with the zoom lens, which is 28 to 112 full frame equivalent. Of course, because of the sensor size, this camera does not produce as much depth, even though the aperture is quite good. It's 2 to 2.8. It's a variable lowest aperture basically. From at 28, it is at 2 f2. That's the lowest one. And then at 112, it would become 2.8. Yeah, this camera, you're never gonna buy it for professional shoot anyways. This is more like a daily carry. And zoom lens is great. It's so small when you tuck that into your pocket, put that in your bag. But it comes with the zoom lens that's incredibly versatile. You can really take wide shots to establish where you are, take medium shots to get the main subject's action. And then you can zoom in even further to get more texture or get more details on the subject or the scene. And what's crazy is it also has a macro mode. This camera covers pretty much all the shots that you need to make a great travel camera, walk around camera, and a camera to document your life with. And what's more, it's got a flip screen, great for just shooting from down below. It's got a viewfinder, which is great, and it's got a flash. And because it is a Fujifilm camera, it also comes with film simulation. It has all the great things that Fuji camera offers at a great size. Image quality, personally, I think it's great quality. 12 megapixel is fine. And if you shoot RAW, you can pretty much edit however you want. I've never felt limited. I pretty much use the fine JPEG, the basic straight out of the camera, and the film simulation gives a really nice look. And I think also because of its older sensor from Fuji, it does give off a different feel to the newer camera. I like the look of the photos that are straight out of this camera. It is such a great choice in 2025 or beyond, because I really do think this is all you need for a daily carry camera. I would personally say this would be a timeless camera to have. But now, of course, before you go out and buy it, I'd like to share a couple things that's bad, or the cons of this camera. First of all, low light, it is pretty bad. But if you shoot RAW, you should be able to pull out a bunch of more details and reduce the noise. But yeah, in low light, it's definitely not as great as the newest camera. So don't expect great low light performance out of these. Second, the focus is not that great, so don't think you can just snap and get the focus right every time. So this camera, you kind of just think of it as a film camera in terms of how you operate with this camera. Just take it slow, don't rush it, and be more patient with it, and then you'll be fine. And then also, this camera for photography only. If you're interested in video, forget about it. It's full HD and then it's pretty bad video quality. I can show some footages. Yeah, don't get it for video. Just get it for photography. Okay, I wouldn't call this a con. It's about how you start up this camera. So the way you start up this camera, unlike other Fuji cameras, I will show you. So this is my X30. So the way you start up this camera is by using this clicker on the shutter button. It's very easy to start up the camera when you walk around with it. And then when you see a shot, you can easily start it up, lift up your camera, shoot it, and then you got the shot. But with this camera, the shutter button doesn't have that clicker, so you can't really use that to start up the camera. The way you start it up is you rotate the lens from off to any focal length you want. That's how you start up the camera. So it is not quick to start this camera up when you do street photography, when you walk around. So this motion of rotating the lens to start up a camera is not very intuitive for me, and it feels slow. So, but overall, despite all the cons, I freaking love this camera. If you're in the market for the X100 form factor camera or the X106, maybe try to find this camera, give it a try. Could be a great budget option for you to get the same kind of experience shooting with a Fuji X100 series camera, but with a zoom lens and fraction of the price.